Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. I'm your host, Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and this podcast are the audio versions of my live Q&A chats on YouTube. If you'd like to be part of the live Q&A chats, come on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. I'm live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. We talk about voiceover, the business of voiceover, audiobooks, and so much more. Find more information on my website, voiceoverangela.com. Enjoy today's episode. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you for joining us today for another live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you being here and going through all of this stuff with me. Welcome. If you're not new here, if you're not new here, then you know that every week we have a new poll. And today's poll is, what is the hardest part of meeting author expectations for my audiobook narrators? Because we also have a special guest today that's going to walk through some of this stuff with us. That is Rebecca Heddinger. She is a member of Launchpad. She is also an audiobook narrator. She's a good friend of the channel, and we're going to bring her on right now. Hey, Rebecca, sorry for that.
It's totally fine.
Apparently, there are multiple steps to still learning, work in progress, work in progress. Okay. So far, Rebecca, we have 19 votes.
Okay.
It looks like let's say 47% of everyone is saying that setting boundaries professionally is the hardest part. And then about 30% said interpreting detailed feedback. 15% said too many revision requests, and 5% said creative vision differences. So setting boundaries professionally. I'm glad that you guys were curious about that, because I think that's one of the toughest things.
It is. It really is.
It really is. So before we get into all of that, give us a little background on you, Rebecca. How long you been in the business, and what made you get started into audiobook narration?
So audiobook narration was something I've been curious in since about 2018. Like the second I found audiobooks, I was sort of like, had that anything you can do, I can do better bug. So from 2018 to 2024, late 2024-ish, it was kind of like bouncing around in my brain. And then I hit a point where I could not fathom going into an office again. And so I like to say I jumped into the voiceover world. I jumped into the deep end. I had no floaties. I had no lifeguard on duty. I just dove and have not looked back. It's been probably the best decision I could have made so far. Not easy in the beginning at all, but I absolutely love doing it. Prior to doing that, I was a massage therapist for about 10 years.
Oh.
Burned out pretty hard at one point, and just bounced around, like working different office jobs and everything. And I was very lucky. I was able to get a really good IT job at one point. So I was able to throw a lot of money into savings with that job, which allowed me to essentially, dive in the way I did. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was very lucky in that respect. And I do recognize that as far as starting out.
That you even have IT experience. So some of this stuff, all of the stuff that I am playing with and not getting right, you're probably like, oh yeah, I could fix that for you.
Not really. I'm about a year behind, so I've not caught up, or I've not maintained the knowledge necessarily. But anything from like 2023, I got you.
Right on. Okay. For some reason the chat's not on the screen. So I apologize for that. Everybody's still work in progress. It was there yesterday. Everything was working yesterday.
Right.
But I guess we're just going to go with it. So I wanted to ask a question, because I think before we get into the chat, we'll see if we have some questions in the chat. I don't see any yet, but if you do, I know everything was working yesterday, but if you guys have questions, please post them in the chat. We'll definitely talk about them. But I wanted to ask Rebecca, what are some expectations or clarifications that you feel that should be discussed up front with an author before you even start an audiobook production?
So what I have found, what I found pretty good success in is talking to the author as much as possible beforehand.
Yeah.
I have started offering Zoom meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get a face-to-face and we can go over everything. And I found when you have that face-to-face with an author, you get so much more information than you would in a carefully crafted email kind of a thing. And now you're also a person to each other. And so you kind of develop a rapport, and it's just kind of easier to talk to each other throughout the process after you kind of just have that meeting with them. So if you're able to do that, I super, super recommend it. And you also get little tidbits about characters or scenes that you might not normally get. Mm-hmm. I know a few times I've talked to some authors and we've been, kind of like wrapping up the conversation, and then they'll go, "Oh, I didn't tell you about Ruby," and then I'm just like, "Tell me, yeah, who's Ruby?" And I'm just like typing away on my notes, like, okay, Ruby means something. So please tell me about, and so I'm just clacking away as far as like, whatever notes I can get on Ruby. So when she shows up in chapter 23, I'm like, okay, hang on, go back to my notes. There we go. All right. And then I've had pretty good luck. Mm-hmm. Keep my fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah. I do that too with Zoom meetings with authors before we get started. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, there's so much more you can get out of just a Zoom call than, emailing back and forth. And not only that, but it builds trust. Like you said, it kind of puts a name to a face. Pronunciation tips are much easier.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Instead of having to, phonetically spell out a word or something like that, or have them send you like a voice note or something like that. And then you kind of get a feel for how they do business too, right? And who they are as a person. So you really get a feel of where they're coming from and what kind of tone. I mean, there's so much more that you can get out of just having a Zoom call. So I do too. I highly recommend that before even getting started.
Yes. And it does help to know if you're working with a author who's more type A, who has very I know everything about my book and here's everything about, and they kind of have that very analytical thinking. Mm-hmm. Or am I working with somebody more on the type B personality side with, whatever you think is good is fine with me. And then you're just like, okie dokie, off I go. And then I'm going to see what I do and hopefully you like it, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of, again, once you have that rapport established, it's so much easier to communicate throughout the whole rest of the book.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you have a bunch of screw ups. It's also, I found my authors to be a bit more forgiving if I'd like send them something and I completely butchered a name, which I did. I pronounced it fine in a couple of chapters, and then for some reason I just forgot what I was mispronounced the name a couple of times, and they're like, no, what happened? But it's always super, super kind. I've fortunately never had anybody be, rude or anything like that. I absolutely love authors. Again, one of the reasons why I'm happy I jumped into this is because my experience working with them so far, for the most part, has been great.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can also use that opportunity during the Zoom call to work on character voices. Or, if there's like specific accents, stuff like that.
So my story about that is, for one book I did, I was just like, what if, I was like, because this is like, one of those creatures that's lived for 500 years. And I was like, what about doing like, maybe British? And she goes, well, how would that sound? And I was just like, oh, I set myself for that. Like, now I got to do it live. No, I'm much better when nobody's looking at me and I can, and just there's hardly any lights on in here and I'm just doing my job. Then I'm really good. But I was just like, what about a British accent? She's like, oh yeah, what does that sound like? I'm like, oh, hang on. Hang on. And so all of a sudden I'm just like, okay,
Dang it.
You've heard this accent before. What does it sound like? Like, my brain just completely stopped.
Deer in headlights.
Oh, so deer in headlights. Because I was like, I walked right into that one. So that was a fun day. That is etched in my memory of just, oh God, okay, yeah, well, yeah, okay. We ended up not going with the accent, I think, because I just did not do a great job of doing that one live.
Yeah, I could totally understand that. I have to ask about accents even before I get to the Zoom call.
Oh yeah,
because you guys all know, I tell you up front, I'm transparent. I'm not the best with accents. So even before we get to the Zoom call, I'm like,
I've improved. I've definitely improved. I did a TikTok live, and one of the characters, I gave her like a very lilty British accent, and the author loved it. And I was just like, when you have a happy author, there's like no better feeling when they say like, oh, I love what you did for so and so's voice. I love how this scene came out. Something like that. You're just like, it's the best feeling.
I just saw a chat. What? Hang on. What is happening? Oh, I see pieces of chat. Hold on. What just happened?
It's technology teching.
Can I unlock this and then move this? Oh, look at that. There it is. How come it's so small? Oh, you guys, I have no idea what is going on with my... We're just going to leave it like that and then see what happens.
Nothing can get wrong with that.
It's one at a time, apparently, for some odd reason. Okay. Let me scan through the comments and see if we have any questions from Caesar. Actually, I enabled like a pin, so it should show up on the screen, but it looks like that's not working either. Sweet. Back to the drawing board. Okay. So now I can't scroll through the chats. What is happening? All right. So, looks like a lot of people are just talking in the chat. Are there any questions? Yeah, I know. Technology is great until it's not. I know. That short with my crown? Yes. It was all AI. That was not me. All I did was upload a picture and AI did the rest. Caesar says he loves seeing Rebecca's duck. And then everybody says, no, Caesar.
Don't make me take the duck away. I love him too much.
Let's see. I'm sorry. Natalie's narration says, couldn't answer the poll because I've been extremely lucky with my authors and not had any issues yet. I'm sure one day. Oh, Caesar says, have Rebecca tell Lauren Hillary's nightmare author story.
Oh.
Can you? Are you allowed to?
Well, it is Lauren's story. So not really. I can share a similar experience. We had similar experiences. But that's Lauren's story to tell, Caesar. I'll let Lauren come on here and do her own thing.
That's fair.
But no, I did actually turn down a job. This was back in this was over the summer. I was in the middle of 2 books at the time. I was editing one and narrating the other. And I had an author who reached out. She liked my voice. And I had sent over an audition, and at some point she kept it was the whole like, well, can we try this instead? Can we try this instead? And I was just sort of like, at some point, like, you have so much of my time right now. If I'm not the narrator for you, like, you have so much of my voice.
Yeah.
If you don't think I'm the narrator for you, then I have to turn this down. Like, happy to do the book, but I just, at some point, I do need the author. You got to trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
That was my big thing, is like, because these books are the author's babies. And when they're handing them over to you, they're putting a lot of trust in you, which again is why I love doing the Zoom call beforehand. And at some point, it's like, I was worried that behavior was going to continue if I did accept the book. And it was going to be just constant revisions and everything else. And at the time, this was like I was in between, let's say the 2 books I was working on were my longest books. So it was like one was about 7 hours, one was about 10 or 11 hours.
Wow. So
I did not have too much brain power for a lot of anything else.
Yeah.
And so, and I very, graciously was just like, at this point, I just might not be the narrator for you. That's totally fine. I wish, I always wish them all the best with their book, because I do truly want for, us to all have great audiobooks out there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's not my name on there, it can be somebody else's name. But I was like, we do have to trust each other, because otherwise, the micromanaging is the other thing that you don't want to have happen.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that would make me crazy nervous. Yeah. So one rule that I have is I love to do the meeting, get as much information as possible. That way, when I do the 15-minute check, I know what characters are the most important to them. Is there a scene that's really important? Is there a character that they are really excited to hear? Because sometimes they'll tell you about, oh, there's a witch in a cave in like chapter whatever. And they're like, so I'm really curious as like what she'll sound like. It's like, I can toss her into the 15-minute sample, no problem. Because you can chop that up as best as you want, or, whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to always do main characters. Is there a scene that they really like? Character that they're excited to hear? So that way they can give you all that feedback then. And then once I get all that feedback, sometimes you work out those creative differences that I think came up in the poll. And then it's like, and now the book is kind of mine, where the next thing you're going to get from me is either I have a question about how to pronounce something, or if I have a question along the way, I'm obviously going to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
But there is also I need to work on the book in its entirety, especially if it's a long book, because I might start out doing somebody a certain way in chapters 1, 2, and 3. And then as I'm like really getting into the book, because we always prep it, but sometimes prepping and actually reading it aloud, you're like, no, hang on. I read that wrong in chapter 1.
This doesn't feel right.
This is a different vibe. And so if I'm handing over chapters 1 through 3, 4, 5, and 6, by the time I finish the whole book, I'm also going to go through and listen to the whole thing. I'm going to look for, what I call it, vocal consistency, or like the character voice consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Does Joe sound the same in chapter 1 as he does in chapter 40 or whatever, however long your book is. And, all those issues that you're going to catch on your own when you do your proofing, however you do your proofing. But if you're sending them like a little bit at a time, they're going to find those issues and they're going to want them corrected. But you're also trying to finish chapters, whatever you're currently working on. And that's just a lot of like redoing for no reason kind of a thing. I hope I'm making sense, you guys.
Yeah, you are. I mean,
okay.
I mean, it makes perfect
okay.
sense. Yeah.
So because like once that 15-minute check is done, like that book is kind of mine. I'm going to work on the whole thing. Sorry, microphone. I'm going to work on the whole thing.
Your duck didn't like that.
I know. Sorry. I'm going to work on the whole thing. I'm going to proof the whole thing. I'm going to make sure what I hand you is the job that I'm best at. And here you go. We've discussed accents. We've discussed character. Like, hopefully we've discussed all these things. If you give me creative reign, you gave me creative reign. I don't know what you want from me at that point, but
mm-hmm.
Here you go. It's your turn to listen to it. Tell me what you think. And then go from there. But at least that way I'm handing them over a book I have gone through. I've proofed it. I've checked it. I'm confident in what I'm handing back.
And that
versus
the
versus here's the
goal.
chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natalie says, yes, communication is key. Zoom calls are great. However, some authors don't want them.
Right.
And I have had a couple of authors who wanted my phone number to call me or to text me. And I don't have a business phone number. So
Right,
I
yeah,
tell
me
them,
neither.
better yet, let's do this. Let's have a Zoom call. And then we can even record it through Fathom or, through Zoom or whatever you decide, and then send them the replay so they can reference it whenever.
Yeah, and they don't have to be on camera for the Zoom, but it is
Right.
easier to just, have that live conversation that way too.
Mm-hmm. Joy says Zoom meeting is a great idea. Yeah, it's definitely. Let's see. Dylan says some authors just need control. My most frequent collaborator wants to personally approve every chapter. Through 5 books, he's only given me feedback or critique on 3 chapters, but he just needs control. So I think that's actually a good thing then. So how do we effectively set, I guess would that be expectations? How do we set those boundaries and expectations up front?
So I also think a part of it is finding out what works for you.
Yeah.
What are your boundaries? And again, attempting to know the author and getting an idea of who you're working with. So it sounds like, for Dylan, like they want that control, but also they don't seem to be abusing the control that they want or that they need. Again, because these are their babies. And so you do want to be respectful of that. But
Uh-oh. Where did Rebecca go? Rebecca, what happened? I guess we're going to go back to me for now. I had no idea. I have no idea. Hang on. Hello? Are you there?
I'm here.
There you are. What happened?
I don't know. My screen just went just grayed out. I started opening up apps and stuff just to be like, oh my, making sure things worked. Everything seems to be working. I don't know what happened.
Live.
Yay.
That's what happens when you're live.
You're on your toes.
Good God. Okay, so technology.
Yay.
What were we talking about?
The boundaries. So I know for Dylan's example, like that author needs, wants to have a level of control, but it also sounds like he's not abusing that control.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a big difference, where you don't want to be taken advantage of either, because our time is incredibly precious. We only have so many hours in a day, and sometimes these books take weeks to do. So that's why, again, I'm going to say it about 1,000 times. Get as much information as you can up front, because it saves so much time. Like, they get a better audiobook faster if you just talk to me for 30 minutes, before we even get started.
Mm-hmm. And just a great app that I don't know if everybody's aware of, and I mentioned it earlier, but Fathom is a great free software that you can use. It records your video meetings, and then it gives you like a summary and takeaway points and a full transcript. So once a conversation is done via Zoom, and it integrates with Zoom, you could just send the link to the author after it's done, and it has everything that you discussed, every like key point for every character, and again the whole transcript, so you could both reference that at any time instead of having to take notes.
I was to say, yeah, that's perfect, because right now I'm still just typing away, taking notes. So
not only that, but if somebody says, well, you never said that Rosie sounded this way, and then you can go back and go, oh, yeah, we kind of talked about that, So you don't forget anything. Let's see. Alexander wants to know, what types of books have you worked with? For me, everything. Any and every kind of genre you can think of. What about you, Rebecca?
So let's see, I've done nonfiction, fantasy, contemporary thriller romance combination. It was a that one was a wild book. It was a fun book, but it was wild. Like a lot of things happened. And oh my gosh. I did a little tiny little Krampus book that was just adorable.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's I think it came across more as adorable than scary, but still, it was a fun book. I'm currently working on 3 books that I don't know how the age rating on here I probably can't talk about, but I've delved into that world to give that one a try.
So also I wanted to note that with Academy Voices, our audiobook production company, Rebecca's also a narrator there, and also with our new After Dark, which Anthony Pica, for all of you wondering, is still building out the pages for that. So have patience. I will let you know when it's live, but for now I'm collecting narrators' names, pseudonyms, your samples, what you're open to. Everybody's asking about Fathom, so
sure, yeah, I'll let you take that.
Fathom.ai. It's called Fathom AI Note Taker. So www.fathom.ai. Super helpful. I use it for every single, even in Launchpad, you guys see it there. It's there to take notes. So nothing is left out. It's super helpful. And it's free. You get so many hours recorded in a month or something. But check it out. It's awesome. Let's see. What other questions do we see? Oh, My Cup of Tea says, I missed the beginning, but do you typically have the meeting before reading through the transcript? For me, I'll ask for the manuscript before the meeting just so I can skim through and see what my questions are. Yep. I'm looking for, first and foremost, as always, to verify the word count, right? Because you want to make sure you have your price ready to go when they ask for it. And then also at that time, set that expectation for how you collect payment, right? As we always discuss, if you want to collect your 50% up front, 20%, whatever it is, and then give them, how much they can be expecting to pay. And then you're also looking for characters. You're looking for any kind of illustrations, diagrams, tables, graphs, any of those things, because at that time you can let the author know that they can include those images in an accompanying PDF with the audiobook, because a lot of authors don't know you can do that, and you can. But what you need to know as a narrator with those illustrations is what you need to say and where in terms of referencing the illustration. So if you're coming up to a section where you're talking about a specific diagram that's in the book, you as the narrator will need to say something like, reference illustration A on the accompanying PDF, something to that effect. But you're looking for anything that you would want to ask about. Is the about the author included in this audiobook? Are your dedications included? Is there anything else that you would like included in this audiobook? I don't know where Rebecca went again. She left. I guess I'm boring. I don't know. Maybe she'll come back. I'll look for her. But I'll just keep live. What can I say? Everything worked fine yesterday. Let's see. Looking for other questions. Amy Ruthie says, you brought cinnamon rolls. Yay. You might have already covered this. I'd love to know how Rebecca got started. She did. She did cover that. I don't see where she went. And I don't see her in the green room, but we'll just kind of wait. Voiceover by Lisa says, do you pre-record what your character voices will or should sound like before you get started into the meat of the recording? I think giving that a practice run through is probably a good thing. That way you have some kind of an idea of what to say before, or how to say it, or what your character voice is before you present it. Or you could just kind of spitball live with the author, however it kind of works for you. Let's see. Tanya says, I wish more of my authors would have accepted the Zoom option. Why wouldn't they? because they wanted to talk to you on the phone. Pam's here. Hey, Pam. Yeah, I'm not sure where Rebecca went. Hang on. Let's see if I switch screens. If I go back. Oh, why is the chat box so big? You guys get to witness all of this fun live stuff. Here we go. So that's way too big of a chat. Let's put it over here. There we go. That's better. Going back to guest, hopefully Rebecca will come back. I don't know what's happening. It was fine yesterday. We're just going to roll with it because that's how we roll. Let's see. Where is Rebecca? I'm just going to check Discord really quick. No clue what happened. I don't know. What I'm going to do, Rebecca, if you're watching, is I'm going to send you another link. And try it again. Try it again, Rebecca. We'll wait for you. All right. Let's see. See if I could see any other questions. Stick around with with crazy glue. Let's see. Voiceover by Lisa. Oh, there she is. She's back. Sorry, Rebecca. I have no idea what's happening. Let's see. I'm looking for questions. Voiceover by Lisa says, weeks. LOL. My first audiobook ended up at the 8-hour mark, and it took me months. Boy, oh boy, was that a steep learning curve. These weekly sessions at Angela's YouTube channel has saved me a lot. Well, good, because that is the whole point of this channel. And thank you guys for sticking around for all the live stream shenanigans. I'm using new software, so we're giving it a try. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Dylan, join us on Academy Voices after dark. We need you on the roster. Let's see. Shauna Swenson, I hope I'm saying your name right, said, do you need a written contract with the rights holder that confirms price? It wouldn't hurt. Definitely wouldn't hurt. I think that's another reason why I record and use Fathom for my Zoom calls, so everything's documented that way as well. But you can download an editable PDF contract through ACX if you go to the help page. And at the bottom, you'll see a link that says legal resources. I think that's what it's called. You click on it and it'll give you some options as to like what your role is and what you need a contract for. You can download it, then you can edit it. And then also, someone else had mentioned, because I had mentioned adding an AI writer, like do not use my voice for any kind of machine learning or anything like that. You can get one of those AI writers from Nava, Nava. I think it's .com. Or it could be .org. Do you know off the top of your head, Rebecca? Is it nava.com? Nava?
I don't know, but I can type it in really fast.
But you can download an AI writer from there to add on to your contract. See, I'm looking for any other questions. I'm glad this channel helps. I hope at the very least it's entertaining.
Even with the technical nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. And I totally forgot to mention this in the beginning because of live, but I wanted just to say thank you to all of my new donut members. I have a channel membership now on YouTube, and you could become a channel supporter where you brought donuts. You get some shout outs. So yesterday I had Caesar join, Jules, Rebecca, and Strange Storm Cat. So thank you guys for being my charter donut members. I appreciate it. You
get a little donut next to your name. Of course I was going to do it.
Let's see. Caesar asked, ask Rebecca about her equipment. You'll be surprised at her setup.
Of course he did. Okay. So I have a Roswell Mini K87 microphone, which is, I love this microphone so much. It's insane. I had to finish up a book on my previous setup, so I had to kind of just like have this just like sitting to the side for a few weeks while I finished up on my old setup before I could put that one on. Caesar, you know more about my equipment than I do. You can always go to my website because it's also listed there. SL2 Mark II interface. I have a SSL Super 9000 analog channel strip, which is freaking amazing. It's also why I'm going to be paying it off for a while. And I have and I also have another compressor. So Caesar and I can just yell at each other all we want and still be able to hear each other crisp and clear.
Nice. And these were all recommendations by...
I see. No, actually, the SSL2 Mark II I came in to Launchpad with it.
Okay. So you had it before Caesar was telling everybody to have it. Or
how do you think he found out about it?
Oh, snap.
Oh, God, I can't wait for the comments coming about that one from Caesar.
Oh, Colleen just became a donut member. Thank you so much, Colleen. I appreciate that. There was supposed to be a graphic that came onto the screen. Again, I'm still working through all of this baloney, so please be patient with me. I don't know why stuff was working yesterday just fine, but today it's not. Yeah. I have no idea. But thank you so much. So, Colleen, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Just wait for Caesar's comments. Let's see. Questions. Let's see. I don't know. Can you see the chat through YouTube? Do you see any questions?
So I did pull up YouTube because the second time I dropped, I was like, what is going on?
What?
So I pulled up YouTube just to make sure like it wasn't like my internet or something going on.
Oh.
But now I can see it.
I don't. I mean, who's to say? I mean, with all the glitches I've experienced today, when the test run went perfectly fine.
It did.
I don't know. Sage said, "Oh, I already use a pseudonym just in case I venture and just." Oh, well, there you go. You're already set.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya says non-Zoom authors were afraid of going off platform. Interesting. They were afraid of going off platform, but you're not really. I mean, ACX is just kind of like a connection platform.
Mm-hmm. And so another thing that I do is I can't look at Caesar's comment right now. I'm scrolling away. Another thing that I do is anytime I take a conversation off platform, I will go back and email them sort of like a debrief of what we did talk about so that ACX has a record of everything we decided on. And it also if I have misinterpreted anything, because here's in my own words how I interpret our conversation went. Of course, I didn't know about Fathom. So, but here's in, how I interpreted it. If there's anything that, kind of like another chance to make corrections. Is there anything that I misinterpreted? Is there something you want to add? We always have this email open, and I also use it for if any corrections need to be made. I always say, because sometimes we'll be like, just emailing, just like in, Gmail or whatever you use. And I'll say, okay, I need you to copy paste this and just email it to me in ACX. So ACX has a record, and everything is we just have a paper trail with ACX, follow your CYA policy, mm-hmm. and, cover your assets policy. And
exactly. So that way, if ACX does have to get involved, you have your paper trail there as well.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I always like to go back and reiterate what happened through ACX. So that way, if for whatever reason, I haven't, knock on wood, had to break a contract yet, but, for whatever reason, something comes up and it's just like, well, here's A, B, C, D, and E, or, whatever. Mm-hmm. So far, so far very lucky, I think. I haven't had to do that yet.
Well, it sounds like you're covering all of your bases and setting all the expectations up front. So,
oh, and that was the other thing. Sorry, I cannot look at these comments. But just in case I drop again, I want to see what's going on. Having a welcome packet. So you can spell out everything that, so you can have it like all written down and ready to go. So if you are able to have that Zoom meeting, great. You can kind of like reiterate what's in your welcome packet. They're still going to get the packet. Everything's still going to be written down. And also you don't have to do like everything I'm telling you to do, but this is just different avenues that you can take. So, you can have like your welcome packet and a call, your welcome packet. And if they only want to stick with ACX email, you do your best, but you never want to, and here's that maintaining professionalism, when you have an author who, very much wants to stick with, this is what I want to do. You want to kind of like meet them where they're at. They're obviously not comfortable going off platform. Okay, how do I make this work on platform? And always just keeping that language as neutral as you can. Keep your emotions out of it if you can. Actually, no, I'm not. Hang on, we rephrase that. Keep your emotions out of it.
Yeah.
This is you are being hired to do a job. Treat it as such.
Yeah. Remain professional.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. At all times.
If you need ChatGPT to be like, how do I make, here's what I need to say. How do I make it professional? Use that if you're having trouble with the wording. As much as, I try not to use it. Sometimes I am just flabbergasted and I want to make sure I get it right. So ChatGPT, how do I make this sound professional? Because I'm a loon and can't do it myself. Like,
oh God, yeah. Yeah. ChatGPT has saved me a few times. Mm-hmm. Professor Tracy says, how do you keep track of the different voices and what books you use them with?
Yeah, so I actually got this tip. I give credit where credit is due. I got this tip from Raven, another member of Launchpad. So I use Adobe Audition. That's my DAW. And I have a file that I use and I keep track of my character voices there. So once I know what they're going to sound like, or once I've recorded them in the book, sounding however I've decided they're going to sound, I just take a clip of that and I copy paste it into the character file. Audition allows me to label a range with a name, and so I'll just put the character name there.
Yeah.
So if we'll go back to my Joe character, my stand-in for anything I need to do. So if Joe showed up for chapter 3 for 5 lines, and then, oh, wow, and then, oh, he's unmasked. He's actually the killer. What does Joe sound like? Hang on. And you go back and you're just like, oh, okay, that's what I made Joe sound like. And so I like having that because it's quick. I can see it really fast once I pull up the character file or my character voice file. And I also, in my computer, I have my files organized in such a way that character file is under that author's name and under that book.
Mm-hmm. And practice that kind of organization early,
yes.
From the beginning, so it just becomes reflex.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't lose any files throughout the process. Let's see. We've got about 14 minutes left to see if we see any other questions. Eric Grimes says, as a fellow Launchpad member, if you're not, join us. There's a link in the description to join us. I remember Rebecca starting out so shy. Now you're leading duet script rehearsal sessions for spicy stuff.
And not. I have 2 sessions.
Overachiever. How did you get from there to here?
Eric, have you tried to get me to shut up? I mean, no,
we don't want you to.
My very first Thursday night class, I was just like, I'm just gonna pay attention. I'm just gonna watch and see what happens. And it was the one class you weren't there. I think you had an injury or something. So it was Eric Priestman and I think Dwight ran that session. And this is literally a year ago, I think.
Yeah, ish. Yeah. I remember
And
that. It was Jim injury.
oh no. And I was just like, no, I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna watch. And I didn't watch. I jumped in like I think 30 minutes in or something insane like that. Because I have an acting background, and so it's just like, oh, you're giving me an option, like the ability to perform. I did a
Improv.
terrible job.
Let's do it.
Terrible job. But I've learned. But you learn. And that was the big thing. Best thing you can do is practice, do a terrible job, and learn from it so you can practice better next time.
Mm-hmm. Just do it.
Launchpad people have so many stories about me wanting to visibly hide under my desk because of something. I submitted something and it sounded just really bad, or my website launched and you opened up a sound file and it sounded like something totally wrong. That was not what it was supposed to sound like. Oh, yeah. No, I will forever remember that moment. I think part of my soul still lives in this studio somewhere from that day.
My cup of tea says I'm definitely going to grab that Nava AI contract. I just had to decline a book. It was completely AI written, and I was not comfortable reading for that. Well, if a book is AI written, you're going to see more and more of that just because of ChatGPT and all of the other content AI generators out there. I think it's way too tempting to use for anybody who just wants to write a simple book for maybe marketing their business in some way, shape, or form, or it's like a business marketing freebie kind of a thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be using your voice for AI. It's just, I mean, it could, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what that is. But if you don't want to narrate an AI-written book, that's your prerogative. I think the further we go down this AI journey into the future, I mean, even from a few years ago, we've got more and more and more regulations being put into place for this all the time, for AI use in every way, shape, form. So I tend to stay away from the AI written books because I have a feeling that at some point those are going to probably not be accepted as, but I could be wrong. I don't know. What's your thought on AI written stuff? Do you think that's going to stick around? Or do you think at some point the regulations will say, no, it has to be written by an actual person? Or
I definitely think it's
percentage has to be.
I would love for it to be a certain percentage has to be written, but then my logical brain's going to be like, okay, but how do you monitor that? Because AI sounds a lot like, well, not a lot, because we are able to spot it pretty easily sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the book is partially written by a person and partially AI, you get the part that's written by a person in the audition. And then you audition for it, and then you get the whole book, and you're looking at the book, and you're going,
man,
wait, what? That's a lot of repetitive phrases. Like the exact same sentence in a single chapter, kind of repetitive.
It's the same point, just regurgitated 5 different times. 5 different ways, but still the same point over and over and over just to fill content space.
Yes, just to hit a certain like page point or word limit or
exactly
word milestone or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm looking for questions. Voiceover by Lisa says, question for both of you, a little bit off topic, but what do you use for your camera? I think I did see Caesar answer that question. Yes, I use a Logitech Brio 4K, and Rebecca uses an AirHug 3-in-1 1080p webcam. Is that correct, Rebecca?
I don't even remember what my camera is.
Caesar's
I don't think it's even. No, I don't even think it's that fancy. It is an AirHug, but 3-in-1, I can't do anything with it other than exactly what you're seeing right now. This is all I can do with it. It is plug and it is play.
AirHug. That sounds so cute.
It does.
It's an AirHug.
It's adorable. But out of the insane amount of upgrades I've made in this studio, the camera has remained the same. It's like a $36 one off of Amazon or something. That's like the one thing I probably should upgrade.
Joy's got a question for you. She says, Rebecca, when you say character file, do you record what it actually sounds like on an MP3, or do you type the description of what it sounds like in a regular text file?
No, I know that this works different for different narrators. So play around and see what works best for you. I like to hear it. So, like if I have a guy voice and he's like this super like snaky, like sneak around kind of like blah, 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 whatever, like this is just his voice. There's a chance I'm not going to remember what this guy sounds like in the next chapter. So I'm going to be like, brain froze, hang on. And once I listen to it, I can kind of mimic myself.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, got him. All right. And then it's like, okay, showtime, let's go. But I know that there are some narrators who actually work better if it's like, Liam Neeson, but hotter or something, but like they like use a pop culture reference for like, here's how I remember who this character is. And, it works for different things work for different people. So I'm big on playing around and figuring out what works for you.
Yeah. I think recording a character's voice, for me anyway, is a little bit easier for my brain to go, oh, that's right. That's what he sounds like. And that way I can kind of match. But some people do better with it actually, like Rebecca said, written out. This is who it reminds me of. You could even, like if you're creating a character sheet, you could even include a picture of a movie character, like you've got Hugh Jackman or something, that's what he sounds like, that kind of swagger sort of sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever it is that it takes for you to remember a character, but that's what she meant by it's a recording. Audible.
Yes. Yep, I actually take a snippet of what I have recorded and I put it onto a new file specifically for my character voices. And in Adobe Audition, you're able to put in markers and you can change that marker to a range. And then in that range, I'll put, Joe Smith. And then, you can rename it so that you can easily visually see it. So, I mean, I have examples, Joy. I can share them with you if you want to see my crazy list of characters in one of my files.
Review Exchange Group says, for both of you, a question regarding retail samples. Do you use the beginning of the book or pick the most interesting portion? For me, I'll just answer that really quick. I do mostly nonfiction. So there's usually like an introduction or a prologue, mainly an introduction most of the time. I'll just use that because it gives a little bit of a snapshot as to what we're going to be talking about through the duration of the book. But for fiction, it could really be, any point that you feel is going to be like the hook, because that's essentially what the retail sample is, right? It's the hook to get you to buy the book or to spend your credits on it. What about you, Rebecca? What do you think?
This is when I learned Trial by Fire. So some of my books are very the retail is chapter 1 and blah, 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 blah. And here's, the first 5-ish minutes of chapter 1. And then I actually had an author be like, do we have to do that? And I'm like, no, actually, I don't think we do. We can do whatever we want. What do you like? And so I was like, do you have an idea for the scene that you want to use? And so she and I worked together and we were able to, we were bouncing around between I was like, well, my favorite character is this one. She's like, I know, but really, my favorite character is this one. And I was just like, okay, well, and so we kind of had a whole conversation about but so-and-so's better because of this, but so-and-so's better because of this. So we kind of got into a little thing about her own book, which was a lot of fun. But again, I had a very established rapport with the author. But then we were able to find a snippet that worked. So you can use whatever works best. But I do think something that is going to catch your listeners' ear is going to be ideal.
Yep. I agree. Voiceover Lisa says, what are publishing companies doing regarding AI written books? I think it's kind of their own prerogative what they do with them, whether they take them or not. I'm sure some are going to go, oh yeah, $, someone's going to buy that. I don't care who wrote it. But I really don't know. But every different company is going to have their own guidelines for what they accept and why.
Yeah, I know.
And then she's gone. Hang on. She's back. There we go.
I didn't actually go anywhere. It was just me this time. The past 2 times, it's just grayed out totally. This time, it was just
weird.
Yeah, it's just me on the screen. So I was like, I'm just going to hang on.
Yeah, weird. I don't know. What were you saying?
I don't remember.
What are publishing companies doing regarding AI books?
Oh, so I know that the some of the rosters that I'm on are very not AI. So I know it's not it's, audiobook publishing, but they all seem to have the same sort of feelings towards, no, we want this to be a book written by a person. We want to promote the person, like they have I'm on very like little rosters.
Still rosters.
They're still rosters. Absolutely. I will. I'm always, it's like so thankful every time I get onto a new one. But no, from what I can tell, they have a very similar opinion that we do to AI, which is no AI books. Using it to help you write a book, I don't think is a problem, but using it for the book, I think is the big problem.
Same.
Yeah.
Big Scary Monkey says, beginner here. When putting together a demo, should you merge separate audio files together? Not particularly a narration question, just demos in general. I think you're going to want to have two different versions. You're going to want to have samples of just a particular tone, like a singular audio file that's a particular tone. That way, because like places like ACX, you're going to have authors looking for a specific genre, a specific tone, a specific character work, right? Like female verse narrating male, stuff like that. And then you're also going to want a compilation demo of several different ones for publishing houses and things like that. So you're going to want two different versions, if that makes sense. Joy says, yes, Rebecca, please show me your wisdom in creating the character files. We can do that try. Yeah, we can do that on Discord.
Yeah.
Kay Hayden, is that Kara? Or is that
I think it's Kara.
But depending on where you listen to the sample, it starts at the beginning no matter what you upload. For the retail sample?
Oh.
Caesar says there's a dimensional rift in your studio.
Well, I got all this equipment based off of his recommendations, so.
Kara says, let's blame the solar flare. Let's do that.
We can absolutely do that. I love it.
Mary Lynn says, I loved Krampus. Who doesn't like Krampus?
Yay! Thank you. I think Mary Lynn actually listened to my book.
Oh, to your book. Okay.
Yeah, to my version of it. Yeah.
Let's see. What time is it? We've been on for about an hour.
Yeah.
Retail sample. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining today. And I'm so sorry. I think what I'm going to have to do is that I'm like going to have to wipe everything that I've done and just start over. Because I don't know why things aren't working the way they should. And I don't know if that has anything to do with what is happening to your broadcast, or if that's the dimensional rift on your end. I'm not sure what that is. But
very possible.
We'll have to figure it out. But thank you, everybody, for joining and for asking your questions. This was something I'm going to continue to do with more and more of our fellow narrators in Academy Voices and talk about different things. Hopefully next week, I might even have a very special guest, not next week, but next month. So I'm working on that, but I'll let you guys know who it is if we can put something down on paper. Caesar will be here next week, so everybody tune in for that. Hopefully we don't lose him to the rift. Hopefully everything works how it's supposed to. I'll share the rift. So everybody cross your fingers, and I'll see y'all next week. Rebecca, again, thank you for joining. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for having me.
That you disappeared a couple times. I don't know what happened. Let's see. I don't see any final questions or anything for you, so we'll call it.
Okay, I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself though.
Yes, do it.
So fortunately, I am voiced by Rebecca pretty much everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, and that's my website. It's just www.voicedbyrebecca.com, and I just revamped the site, so it looks awesome.
And I totally meant to give you space to do that, but I'm so distracted by everything not working, so I apologize. But thank you.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna
jump in. Yeah, just do it.
Oh, and do all the liking and all the buttons,
all the YouTubey stuff. Hopefully everything will work next week. So, thanks, Rebecca. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see y'all next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to She Lancer Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. That's me. For more information about me, visit my website, voiceoverangela.com, or hop on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. Again, thanks for listening. Have a great day.